Hello, welcome to the Beard Out Podcast. Podcast where we talk about the two greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al Yankovic. My Aunt Lala and my dad are the hosts of the show. Thanks for listening to the Beard Out Podcast, part of the iPods Media Network. Stay weird and enjoy the show.
Record and away we go.
Well, hey, how are you doing? Have a seat. Have a drink. Boy, I can glad to see ya. What can you say? Where's Lala?
What is going on, folks? Yeah, you may be saying to yourself, what? Why did another new episode of the Beard Owl Podcast pop into my feed today? Because this is not the day that happens. That had already happened. But no! See, it's because this is a bonus episode. As the title of this episode probably tells you. If you can read, then you already knew that. But if you're just listening, then, whatever. It is what it is. This is usually the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. But today, I have a glass of wine, and we're not talking about Weird Al at all. We are talking about some fun novelty music, though, because I have a fellow who has been on the show before who talked about doing music and is now doing the music that he was talking about. So, David, you are back. Hello. How are you?
I am great. I'm so excited to finally be putting this thing out, and I thank you for having me on to talk about it because there's really no better place for me to talk about an album like this.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Because when you were talking to me about this project, I was like, wait, it's novelty music about pets? Hello, I love both of those things, so you absolutely need to come here and talk about this. And I did get a little sneak peek listening to some of the tracks already on it, and it does have the Beard Owl seal of approval. So,
all right. I'm working hard for that. I want to make sure that these dogs and cats get their due and get those those solid ratings and reviews and all that stuff. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, this is just a little, glimpse into what it is that you're putting out. So first of all, what is this project and what is it about? Just dump it.
Absolutely. So the name of the group is the Pups.
I love
and
it.
the name of that album is Who Wants Din Din? And this is something I've been working on for so many years. Basically, I think since 2008. It's always been this kind of in joke between me and friends and people who know me that this was like a back burner project that I'd pick up the guitar and try to get some of these songs out of my head, and then I'd put them back down and go work on, like I talked about on the last time I was on, I also score films and put out very deathly serious instrumental music that's very dark and melancholy, but at the same time I wanted to make these silly funny songs about my dogs and cats, and in some cases sung by them because we personify them and they all have their own individual voices and personalities.
Yep.
And so the album has just been on again, off again, in the works for almost 15 years, and the time has finally come to put this thing out.
I am so excited for it. I'm so excited because, I am such a dog person myself.
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand the personification of pets. I told you before we got on air today that there was some pretty gnarly thunderstorms coming through my area.
Mm-hmm.
And my dogs are both terrified. One likes to sit.
Yeah.
My German Shepherd, Belladonna, likes to sit at the foot of the couch, wedged between the couch and the coffee table, right at my feet. So she was making it difficult to get off the couch to come here to record.
Sure.
And then my Doberman Troy is on the couch right next to me with as many blankets on top of him as possible that he puts on himself because he doesn't like the noise. And so I'm
Yeah.
sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to disturb them in their terrified state. And then on top of the fact that, the power or internet could go out, but it's like the primary concern was my dogs are terrified of what's happening right now. But I'm
Of
about to go
course,
talk
yeah.
about, dogs and cats and whatnot having feelings.
Yeah, they'll understand. And yeah, I mean, part of the reason why, after 15 years, when are you going to put this thing out? It's kind of like, well, I guess whenever at this point. But part of the reason why I picked right now, June 30th, as the release date that it's hitting streaming and all that, is so that people can play it really loud and drown out those fireworks on the 4th of July to help
Yeah.
their little pets out,
That's really smart timing. So yeah, it's this is coming out this coming Friday. So when you're loading up the next new episode of Beard Al, also load up this wonderful album of. You're gonna have a great Friday next Friday because there's just gonna be so much amazing content for you to listen to. So now we know it's kind of like novelty songs, like either about or from the perspective of pets and things like that. But as far as musical styling is concerned, what can people expect from this?
Sure. Well, the funny thing, you said we're not going to talk about Weird Al, but these are style parodies, something that, we talked about. Weird Al has a lot on his albums, and a lot of these songs were kind of born out of me noodling around and coming up with ideas for trying to fit songs into these specific genres or like sounding like certain artists or whatnot, stuff like that. The first track on the album, Give Me Back That Toy Again, which is sung by Harvey, definitely supposed to sound like a Hive song. Just that, like, just totally ridiculous, over the top, like rollicking kind of punk, kind of garage rock kind of sound. I've got this one song called Sink Cat about my cat Millie, who is a total daredevil and drives us completely insane. She likes to what did I say? Sink Cat? I meant it's called Slip and Splat. Sink Cat is another song on the
Oh
album.
boy.
That's about a really beautiful cat that loves to lay in the sink. But no, I was going to bring up Slip and Splat, which is about our cat Millie, who likes to jump up on the upstairs railing and run across it, and it's 2 floors up. And I really, really, really hope that she never slips and splats. But that's what that song's about. And it's like it's like a kind of jazzy punk rock, kind of funky kind of type song like
That's
that.
great.
So it fits her personality really well. But yeah, all these songs are meant to like evoke different kinds of styles and genres, everything within the realm of rock for the most part. There's like a bonus track that kind of goes a little techno-y, but otherwise, like within various forms of rock music, there's like a garage bluesy kind of rock song. There's a track that sounds a lot like Tom Petty, I feel like, just across the gamut of various kinds of rock music.
That's very, very cool. And, I'm getting now, again, all things come back to Weird Al as they do.
Of course.
But it's kind of a Peter and the Wolf sort of thing. You know how like each instrument is an animal. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
it's very much like putting a musical representation on an animal, and you're doing that stylistically, with the songs and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's like, and I think a lot of pet owners do that. It's like, if my dog listened to music, like what would he actually like listen to and enjoy? And you're kind of putting that on them. And brief sidebar, I've spent probably the better part of the last 6 years of my 7.5-year-old Doberman's life trying to figure out what music he actually likes. And like he hates classic rock, he hates yacht rock, he's not like into pop. Rap makes him nervous, like he's like what like he doesn't like the beat to it. And I was like, I just think this dog doesn't like music. But then
it's possible. Maybe podcasts,
he might just like listening to people talk. But no, like every once in a while, like when we're, spinning records or stuff, if there's a good, just kind of acoustic folky sort of song, like he's like, okay, I can get down to this. But like that doesn't match his personality. Like that's what he likes. Like if my dog Troy were a song, like if he were a genre, he'd be like that early 2000s rock that like nobody really likes, like Limp Bizkit or whatever. Because it's just like, oh, come on, but he doesn't like it, but that's what he personifies.
I feel like, speaking of Limp Bizkit, like that's like the one, like the rap rock, like really angsty kind of thing. That's like the one thing that maybe isn't on this album, but otherwise we got it all here. We got every single style. And Another fun shout out is the song Waka Waka, which is actually a duet between my dog Harvey and me.
Aw.
And he actually has a toy solo on that song where I recorded him squeaking his toy rhythmically. Like it actually fits like a real melody during the breakdown, like after the second verse. So it's pretty awesome. And I yell toy solo before he starts squeaking it. So
That's a very Weird Al thing to do. I love that. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure there have been toy solos on this show by accident. I like
by
that.
accident,
I like
right,
that
yeah.
you put one in there on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know what? Do you want to add a little bit of angst, something hardcore to that toy solo? It's you know why dogs
Mm-hmm.
like squeaky toys? Do you know why dogs like squeaky toys?
I think they think that they're killing something, right?
Yeah, they totally do. So anytime my dogs are like squeaking a toy, we're like, "Oh, you're having a nice little murder over there. Good,
Yeah.
have a nice little murder." You know, 'cause they
Yeah,
get all
they're little
excited.
monsters, basically. That's
Oh
what
my
they
God.
are. They're
Yeah,
little killing machines.
it's great. It's great.
Hmm.
But just to make sure that like we're staying on, what we're supposed to be talking about here, and we are still, because that's how it
Hmm.
goes. But I'm gonna put as many links to the stuff in the show notes as I can. Now this is coming out this coming Friday after you're hearing this, and but you can stream it everywhere you can stream stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be on all of the streaming services, the Apple Music, the Spotify, the Tidal, all those things. There's also a limited edition CD available on Bandcamp, which, by the way, speaking of that CD, this is kind of ridiculous, but there's one song on the album. It was actually the first Pup song. It's called Covered in Blankets, which is just about covering my pets in blankets. And
Yep.
it's very simple lyrics. And I've wanted to do this since like I said, this has been in the works 15 years. And from the beginning, I knew I'd do this. If I ever actually finished this album, when the time came, I would do a pre-order bonus. And this has already happened now at this point, but I would do a pre-order bonus where anyone who pre-orders the album, I would record a special version of Covered in Blankets, including their pet's name, no matter how long the song ended up being. And I ended up getting a lot of pre-orders, and it's like a 13-minute song of just all of these people's pets, and it's pretty awesome. It closes out the album at the end.
Oh, that is absolutely delightful. It's like I mean, again, it's like Weird Al ending an album with an epically weird song, and that's exactly what you're
Sure.
doing. Man,
Yeah.
see, you're doing it correctly, sir. You're doing it absolutely correctly. So yeah,
Yeah.
but people can still pre-order the CD now if they want it. They just won't get that
Yes.
bonus of having their pet included.
Yeah, maybe on the next album I'll think up something else stupid to do. But yeah, for now though, they could just buy the CD on Bandcamp. Like I said, it's thepuppups.bandcamp.com, and I have links to all that on my regular music website. There's a whole little side section just for the Pups where people can find that, which is bydavidrosen.com.
Yeah, all right. Like I said, check the show notes for that. I'm gonna be a good podcaster and make it easy for everybody, so they don't have to like search for stuff. Seriously, just check the show notes. Click the there's these. You're gonna see like little underlined text. Click those things.
Yeah.
That's gonna take
It
you
might
where
be
you want to go.
blue. It kind of depends though on your
podcast
particular
player.
browser.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
so
But you
yeah.
click those things. I promise you, I've put them there for you. And like I said, from the samples that I've heard so far of what you've done for this, definitely something that I could see plenty of people who are into Weird Al or not, who are into pets or not, sitting down and enjoying for the the delightful like relatability of it all. And
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
great. Just
I
hearing,
appreciate that. Yeah.
awesome.
That's what I want. I want to celebrate pets and how ridiculous and silly they are, and hopefully that comes across in this thing. I feel like at least all their personalities definitely did, and they're the best. These little crazy monsters.
Yeah, and I've already, as of us recording this, I've recorded it. I don't think it came out yet, but on our Infectious Groove Music YouTube channel, I put out a video. Like I said, I've already recorded it. I don't think it's come out just yet, but it's very soon,
Mhm.
about great songs that people have written about their dogs.
Oh, nice.
So some big stuff, and it is the one and only music YouTube video that like I actually teared up in, because it is absolutely like between human and pet, it is the purest form of love that
Yeah.
exists. I think, because like,
It's so true. It's so true. When finishing this album, like after all these years, obviously they don't live forever as much as we wish they did. And there's been 7 band members of the Pups over these last 15 years, and only 4 of them are still with us. And going through all the videos and pictures to make like the artwork, and we've got a few music videos on the way, and just watching all that stuff all over again, absolutely, like it was really hard not to tear up putting that stuff together. But I'm just so happy I have it all, though.
yeah, and I think what you're doing is a beautiful tribute to, souls that really can't do that kind of thing for themselves. They leave their mark, and I love that you're celebrating it. And I am literally about to tear up again because the love between pet and human is the purest thing there is. I don't care. I don't have any human children. Okay. I've got my dogs, and dogs will never resent you. Dogs will never look at you and say, I hate you. You know what I mean?
No.
It's just like they rely on you for things and they love you. And that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
They're awesome, and they're silly, and they're cute, and they're fun, and they make you laugh constantly, which is, I mean, that's what life is all about. And that's why they're the best.
That is why they're the best. And I am so glad that you're celebrating it. And I would urge anyone and everyone, but especially those of you who listen to the Beard Owl podcast, to check this out. Because if you like what we're doing, that means you like what Weird Al is doing. And if you like what we're doing and what Weird Al is doing, then you will definitely enjoy the Pups. And please, check it out. Pre-order, stream it, do what you will. I would like for a lot of people to hear this because like I said, what I've already heard put a smile on my face and already brought a tear to my eye. So, if you want to feel things and share it with your dogs for the 4th of July to keep them calm from all the bad stuff, all the bad boom booms in the sky.
Yeah, those things are very scary. But by the way, I will also be doing a special bonus episode of Piecing It Together, doing an album length commentary track talking about the pets and like what inspired each song. And so that'll be up on the podcast right around the time the album drops. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So there's going to be a link to David's podcast here as well. So you want to be on the lookout for that. A nice little listen along to get a little behind the paws of the.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Behind the paws with the Pups. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, well, I think we covered the whole thing. Is there anything else you wanted to add about it?
Oh boy, I think just love your pets and hug them tight, and hopefully you'll enjoy this album.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end it. And so, I hope everybody enjoyed this little bonus of Beard Owl, and I hope you stream this album on Friday, enjoy it, and yes, hug your pets. That might be how we end this show, like forever and for all time now. Hug your pets.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on this, by the way. This was a lot of fun to get a chance to talk about it a little bit. This thing's been like brewing for
I know.
years, and it's like it's such a weird little project to put out there, and it's like I got to talk about it somewhere. So.
Yeah, I was so excited when I saw that it was finally happening, because I remembered you talking about it when you were on my show last time, which was probably close to a year ago, if not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean that's pretty much the life cycle of a guest on my show. People like to come back to me about once a year. That's about all people can take.
Yeah.
No. But no, I'm so glad you finished it. I was so excited to see it, and I was like, no, you definitely need to come on and talk about it, because you're gonna have an audience here. And Beard Owl podcast listeners, prove me right, please. Thank you. But all right, folks, I don't even know. Oh yeah. This coming Friday, so the day that you are going to go ahead and start streaming the Pups album, you will get to hear from Beard Owl a nice little episode about oh my god, what are we even talking about? Oh yeah, I think Alpocalypse. Yes, Alpocalypse. That's right. That's what we're talking about. Alpocalypse. I think I might have mentioned that already, but hey, I'm mentioning it again, just to prepare you. Anyhow, that's it. I have a very bad, like, messy schedule in my brain. And I think the people that listen to this know that, like, I record things out of order and then putting them out in a certain order. And I was like, what is even happening the next time these people are going to hear it? Because time is a flat circle.
Sure.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, once you start recording one episode and then another episode and another episode. It's just a podcast feed at that point. What are you gonna do? You can't keep track of that.
No, you can't. And then when you record them out of order because of schedules and they're not in line with release dates, who even knows? But anyway, this is just me complaining about the life of a podcaster. You people don't want to hear that. What you want to do is download this album on Friday, because it will make you very, very happy. So, David, thank you again for being here to talk about your Pups album, which I'm so excited about.
Yes, thank you again so much for having me on. Hope everybody enjoys the album.
Hooray! Okay, well, folks, we'll see you in less than a week, because you just heard from me yesterday. Bye. Kitty cat on the podcast, dancing to the music. I wish you could see what I'm seeing, people. It's delightful.
It's a sink cat.
Oh, it's a sink cat.
Sorry, we got a one. We got a pencil again.
That was a beautiful cat. Thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely.